Hey guys, it's Barrett. So if you've been here before, nice to see you again. And if this is your first time, welcome. Nice to have you. So communication. If we want to communicate with someone, we have to be where they are, just like how we are both here on YouTube. Social media is one of the main ways that we communicate with each other. I mean, we all carry around these guys, right? And in Japan, it's no different. So if you are trying to market your business to Japanese people, or you want to make Japanese friends, or maybe keep in touch with a Japanese person that you met while traveling or on an exchange or something like that, this video might be interesting to you. So I would say that I'm pretty in the social media space. Like I said in another video, I pay attention to this kind of stuff naturally, and it's kind of what helped me get my current job. I am always shooting photos or trying to make these videos and posting and doing all this kind of stuff on multiple different personal social network channels, and also for clients because I do cross-border social media marketing here in Japan. But it changes all the time and it's really hard to keep up with. So I'm just gonna give you a general overview of what social media is like here in Japan in 2021. If the numbers that I report are a little bit different from what you've read in other places, it tends to happen. I mean, it depends on who's reporting, who's doing the research, how they're calculating the data, and so on. So it really can vary, but this is just to give you a general idea of what's going on. First, media consumption in Japan is at an all-time high. In 2020, across all age groups, the average person in Japan consumed 411.7 minutes of media a day. That is over 6.5 hours. Now, the places that people are consuming media has changed over the past several years, and much like in other countries, consumption in TV, or at least linear cable TV, has been decreasing, and mobile has been going up. But keep in mind that these shifts might not be as quick as you might see in other countries, because Japan has a large aging population, so there's a lot of more elderly people just watching on the TV and don't have one of these guys. So the first social media app that I'm going to be talking about is Line. Line is more of a messenger than an open social network like how we like to think about it, but it is the biggest platform in Japan, especially because other messaging apps like iMessage or WhatsApp are not really used here at all. So Line has about 86 million monthly active users. What that means is that there's 86 million people in Japan using the app each month. And to put it in perspective, there's about 126 million people in Japan. So it's quite a fair percentage, especially when you consider the aging population. And Line users use Line a lot. 85% of the users use it every single day. Again, it is the main messaging app here. Now they do have a timeline, but it's pretty dead, at least from what I can tell. I don't know, I might not have a lot of friends or something, but the timeline is mainly people saying they updated their profile picture, or they added some music, or it's just a lot of ads on my feed at least. So a lot of companies are using Line to advertise by sending direct messages. So basically like a message to your inbox, or using the Line ecosystem and advertising in other places like Line News. And if they're a small business, they also use it sometimes for like a point card system, or to just communicate their hours or specials and so on. But one of the key benefits of Line is that almost 40% of Line users don't use any other social media. So especially if you are a business, it starts to look pretty important. And if you are making friends with an older person especially, they might not have Facebook or any other social network. So Line is gonna be the one that you're gonna be doing calls and emails and text messages on. The next is YouTube. Now, you can argue whether or not YouTube is a social network. I mean, it is a media platform and it does have social communication features, so I'm just gonna throw it in there. And you know what? We're here, so it's a cool platform, right? Speaking of which, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell. I'd really appreciate that. Let me know if you are interested in this kind of stuff from Japan in the comments below, and I'll try to get back to you. So anyways, YouTube has about 65 million monthly active users in Japan, and it's been increasing, especially during 2020. Now, of course, it could be partly because of the pandemic, but YouTube has been growing over the past several years. And last year, 74% of YouTube users said that they used YouTube more than before, and there's about an 80% rise in view time overall. It's a cool platform, right? I mean, we're here. The next is Twitter, and that's pretty much a true social network, or at least how we like to think of it. It is largely looked at as the first international social media app to come and make it big in the Japanese market. Before the late 2000s or early 2010s, there was a lot of domestic apps like Mixi and Ameba, and Japan has become the second largest market for Twitter. So Twitter has about 45 million monthly active users, but that's a number that hasn't been updated in quite a while. And about 40% of Japanese say that they use multiple accounts on Twitter. So not quite sure on the exact number of users on Twitter in Japan, but if you just look around when you're on the train or in a cafe or something, or just talk to people, you'll really realize soon that Twitter is a pretty important place to be when communicating in Japan. The next one is Instagram, which I think a lot of us are on. I'm on there. Hint, hint. But anyways, Instagram has grown a lot in the past few years. It has about 33 million monthly active users as of their last report. Now, they didn't report their numbers last year for some reason. I don't know, maybe they didn't hit the mark that they expected to hit or something, but that's still over a quarter of people in an aging population. It's heavily used by females under 40, but it's been growing in use overall. There's about 7 million stories being posted every day. So 7 million, that's like 1 in 5 Instagram users posting a story every day, which is pretty high, I think. One of the differences, or at least strong points with Instagram in Japan, is that people tend to look and seek information a lot more than in other places. It was reported that there is 5 times the amount of hashtag searches than the global average done in Japan. And so that kind of hints at some intent to seek information about a business or a product or something like that. There's like a lot of other things I can talk about with Instagram, but I think I'll save it for another day. Let me know if you want to hear that as well. So Facebook is the next biggest social network, and it has about 26 million monthly active users. It's lost a couple million over the past couple of years, and it's definitely on this slow downward trend, just like how it is in a lot of other places. So younger Gen Z folk aren't really on Facebook, but there are 30 to 50-year-olds that use it quite a bit. And one of the reasons is because of how it's used, and it's a little different from how it might be used abroad. So, in other countries, it's used to connect with friends and acquaintances, maybe family members, people you know. In Japan, it's kind of a replacement LinkedIn. It is used to build and maintain business relationships. So that's why a lot of 30 to 50-year-olds are on there. And speaking of LinkedIn, it has about a couple million users here, and it hasn't really taken off in Japan, although I've sensed a little bit of an uptick more recently. But yeah, Facebook definitely covers that kind of business networking area here. And the last one that I'll be talking about today is TikTok. So TikTok has been steadily growing in Japan since about 2018, and it's definitely moved away from being that teenage lip sync dance video app. It's moved on to have content come up over the past year or two, such as how-to instructional videos, daily vlogs, lifestyle videos, and so on. And 30 and 40-year-olds, just like how it was with Instagram and Facebook, have begun to jump on the app as well. So TikTok, as of their last announcement, has 9.5 million monthly active users, but a report just came out by Statista saying that they have 12.6 million monthly active users. Who knows, but it's definitely around that area. I would definitely say it's more than 10 million right now. Media consumption also has grown on TikTok. It grew 65% year on year, and Gen Z uses it for more than an hour each day. Of course, companies in Japan are a little bit slower to jump on. There was a lot of worry about the data thing with China, and is the US gonna ban TikTok and so on. And just from an account standpoint, it's kind of a hard platform to create content for. At least it's very different from others. So there's a lot of worry about that, and companies were like, do we really need to be on there? We can't send people to our e-com site. I mean, it's pretty much the same conversation that they had with Instagram. It's just in a different platform. But More recently, there's more advertisers on there, so companies are testing out TikTok as an advertising platform. And there's a little bit of conversation brewing about creating and operating their own accounts. So there's a bunch of companies that are thinking about it at least. But that's pretty much what I have here for you today. There are also a lot of niche apps. LinkedIn, like I mentioned, has about 2 million monthly active users. There's Snapchat, Dispo, and all these new ones coming out. Things are always changing, like I said, so who knows, they might not be worth putting a lot of effort and focus in now, but they could be something big in a year, 2 or 3, who knows. So if you found this interesting and want a PDF version of all of this kind of stuff and a little bit more that I didn't talk about, I'll leave a link in the description below. You can go ahead and just download it free. Otherwise, leave a comment below letting me know what you thought of this, or if you're interested in this type of field or conversation as well. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video here on YouTube or on one of these other apps that I'm on. But yeah, till next time, take care.